But where do you come down on the issue of exceptions to that, if, in the case of rape, incest, or other particular exceptions?
Yeah, John, so I'm very pro-life and not ashamed of it. Of course, you have to have some reasonable exceptions here, but I just want to save as many lives as possible. I think that's the goal of a pro-life policy.
So let me just drill down on that. You said reasonable exceptions. What exceptions are reasonable to you?
Well, look, I think it's always hard to say every single possible exception. My goal, like I said, John, is to save as many lives as possible, to try to protect as many unborn babies as possible.
Fox News is doing everything they can to prop up J.D. Vance after his putrid debate performance against Tim Ryan. Fox host John Roberts gave Vance a layup multiple times to commit towards granting abortion exceptions to rape and incest victims. And Vance still dropped the ball.
We do know that you are in support of Lindsey Graham's 15-week ban on abortion. What's reasonable?
Make it easier for young moms to afford health care. Make it easier for people to afford, afford adoption services if they need to. But I actually don't buy, John, that we're way behind with women voters. I think there's a really, really big groundswell of women voters who are really angry about inflation, really angry about crime, especially in our big cities in the state of Ohio. And I think because of that, we're going to do very, very well with women voters, with men voters, with everybody come election day. But look, I'm pro-life, and I'm not ashamed of it. I think there are a lot of voters, male and female, who just feel like I do, that they want us to be a pro-family, a pro-child, a pro-baby state, and I think that's where we're headed.
I'm going to move on, but one last chance for voters to hear what those exceptions might be.
Look, guys, I think that like I said, one obvious exception, of course, is you got to make sure that, you have life of the mother protected. There are other exceptions as well. My view is we want to save as many lives as possible. That's why I kind of like Lindsey Graham's approach, because it sets a minimum national standard while giving the states a big amount of room to negotiate and figure out their individual abortion policies. I think that's the right approach, especially now when we're still trying to figure out what the world looks like in this post-Roe versus Wade world.
During his debate with Tim Ryan, Vance again dodged a similar question about granting some exceptions, and instead, he decided to pivot his answer towards fear-mongering about the border.
Can you specifically tell us what you might accept as an exception?
Look, I've always believed in reasonable exceptions. I absolutely think the 10-year-old girl, the case that we've, of course, heard a lot about, an incredibly tragic situation. I mean, look, I've got a 9-year-old baby girl at home. I cannot imagine what that's like for the girl, for her family. Poor girl was raped by an illegal alien, somebody that should have never been in this state in the first place. You voted so many times against border wall funding, so many times for amnesty, Tim. If you had done your job, she would have never been raped in the first place.